Welcome back to Hello Crypto, episode 9, presented by 60s Trading. Match the markets with precision, learn, execute, and profit. I'm 60, and joining us again today is the co-host Jay Blaine with the Alpha Angle. So embrace the crypto culture for all your crypto apparel needs at thealphaangle.com. So let's go ahead, head on over here, and check out the charts. And what we'll do is we'll start out with XRP. Now, on the daily, the last update we put out was we had to pull up above our green, somewhere between the green and the red, and we'd be pulling back down. And that's exactly what we've done. We pulled up into it. We've now pulled back down. And I even put up earlier, and actually I was just talking with Jay just earlier, and you can see us pushing hard actually right here, right now, where I just told him we're going on down and what we're going down for. Because on the daily, you can see the visual is already dropped back down, getting ready for another green dot entry. Maybe we got third time is a lucky charm, because when we zoom out to the weekly, I tell him, here's what we're looking at. We're looking at this last order block that I'd called out. Every single one of them I've called from that candle from 1010. This is the last one of them has been hit. And here we are creating the weekly actual slingshot position where the green's pulling down. So just kind of imagine this right here. You got your red line, considering that the two sides of a slingshot, right? And then you got the green line is the sling. So you're going to grab the green, you're pulling it back. And now if you look at our visual down below here for the weekly, it's closing in on getting ready for a green dot. So we get enough pressure on the pullback, we're going to get a green dot on the weekly, and you're going to see the slingshot effect take off to the upside. But as I was saying, the order block down below, which if you hadn't already joined the Discord, I've been putting it in the Discord. I said we're going down to it. No ands if or buts, but we're going to do it this week. We're pushing to it right here, right now, in this live recording, and that is available for all the Discord members to see. Look at us, already down to $1.72. I mean, that right there is insane. You want to go ahead and go over these order blocks on this while I'm sitting here watching the drop here into this order block?
Yeah, it's coming after it, buddy. Yeah, I may need to get my trade in.
Right? I mean, it makes me want to take and pull up on the side while you're doing that. Go ahead and get mine order in. Dude, it's coming in quick. It's coming in hot. So what are you seeing on the order blocks? I'm guessing it's showing that we're going to be going down as well.
Well, it's actually going to be changing up quite a bit. Just a little bit ago, the buyers were sitting at about 30, and the sellers were just dominating. And now it's jumping back and forth. We're hitting 92% on the buyers, down as low as 42%, 43% for sellers. So this is really, I don't know if it's I think that this is going to tap that low order block before it goes back up into the any of our upper order blocks. Man, that's what the numbers are showing. Whenever it stalls at about 50-50, but it sits just for a moment before either buyers get strong and or sellers take it back over. But I think that we're going to have a clean entry from these gaps that are being formed right now as we speak.
Yes, I mean, we pull down here and then we push back up. And it being a big order block, I'm sitting here, I'm trying to debate, if we push back up again, are we going to be able to, have enough resistance at that 204 up to that 206 area? It's a small area, but it is also where the daily pink line is. But the more and more I'm looking at this setup, it kind of looks to me more and more like this could be one of those where we're going to break that upper order block, that first one there, and push on up towards the, to the 223, the 229, possibly up to that 250 area, or I mean, we may push higher than that, but because the order blocks, they're right there, there's not that big, there's not a whole lot of resistance there. We could wind up taking out a lot of those, just depending on the volatility, just like we just seen right here with this current daily candle that's pushed almost down to that lower area. I think what we dropped down to $1.70, 189. So we're just about to be breaking that $1.70. That's going to push us on down into that $1.67, down to the $1.48 area. Now, will we hit that tonight, or will that be another daily candle? That's what we're kind of watching. But man, it is exciting to see that. I mean, I will want to put this out there and stuff. Don't shoot the messenger, okay? I hate being the person who is like, hey, chart says we're going down to here, because nobody wants to see their money going down. You want to see the money going up. So you want to be able to call it and say, yeah, we're going up, we're going to the moon, But I've got my moon boots ready. We ain't there yet, but I'm not going to call and say, oh, we're going to $10, we're going to 1,000 or anything like that, because I'm only going to call what my indicators are going to show me. So we take it day by day, candle by candle on where we're going, and according to the charts and the data of, are we in the uptrend? Are we bullish? Are we bearish? And we go from there. Right now, we are still bearish. We're going to see that pull down. And, when like I said, when you step back out on that weekly, like I think it's been, about a month or so since I called and said that, hey, the weekly's crossed over and we're looking at a weekly slingshot. I didn't think we was going to pull down as hard. I thought we may come down to here, but may not. And it kind of looked like we was ready to go back to the upside, but it's not there yet. We're close, but we haven't made it to the point of flipping the bullish side yet. So that's what we're looking at right now, is this last order block. Now, if we break lower than that big murder candle is what I call it, down at that $1.26, we do have a couple of order blocks that we have marked out, one being at $1.15, $1.05. And then, of course, if it was one of those, another beautiful, or not beautiful, but destroyer candles that we get, the lowest on order blocks that we've got is like that 52 cent down to a 50-cent area, which I'm going to tell you, if it goes down to there and I'm able to, I'm going to back up the truck and I'm going to buy more. I don't know about you, but
60, the order book is backing up exactly what you're saying. We've got if you're averaging it out, it's still going sitting at about, buyers are a little over 30%, sellers are almost at 70%, and the deeper that gets, the bigger the amounts. So the depth is also in the favor of the sellers, and it just doesn't look like that's gonna change anytime immediate. And we know that could be, this could be flipped by tomorrow morning. But right now, it's backing up your chart. That's a good thing.
it's always a good thing. Hey, now let's just let's talk on this for a second here. So we've got this order block. It's $1.67 down to $1.48. If we're going to take and we're going to get into this, where would you look at your entry? Where would your stop loss be? What kind of leverage and stuff? Is this something that we take it over to the trade calculator and we try to work that out? I mean, where would you want to enter in at?
Absolutely. That's a big block. And nothing says it has to clear all the liquidity out at once, though I am kind of biased toward, once it gets tapped, it's not really searching to land in that same zone. So, even though there's other factors that say it won't be mitigated, I still kind of treated it like it does. If a candle closes inside there, I definitely treat it like that, like it's been mitigated. So You don't normally see a 20-cent block sitting in here. I like to set my trigger about a third of the way into a block and set my entry just a little bit past or under that, and set my stop loss outside of the block because it can easily burn all the way through that. We've all seen that. So I would set my stop loss at about 47.5. I would set my trigger about 160, 162. My entry about 161.
So entry around $1.61. All right. You said your stop loss would be what, around that $1.48?
Well, it would be $1.47.5,
Okay,
maybe
$1.47.
$1.47 if I can get in that, to
Okay.
give me a little bit more cushion.
Now, what kind of a take profit would you be looking to go to?
Man, I would probably, it'll depend on the leverage that I work out on the calculator there.
Well, I
And
mean, I've got it pulled up here, $1.61 enter, $1.47.5 stop. And just saying, roughly say, hey, we throw $1,000 at it. If we do a 5x leverage, you're looking at, if we hit a stop loss, that's a 41.93% stop, right there. So you're going to lose close to 50% there.
what's the risk ratio?
So
How much can you
you're
profit?
looking at, if you're going, say, you're going to be going up with a take profit, let's just call it $2.04. You're looking
That's
at
exactly what I was going to say.
you're looking at making like 133.54% and losing only, close to half, only about 41% or so.
Is that 1 to 2, 1 to 3?
Well,
That looks like about 1 to
I
3.
think that would be a 3 to 1, just about, right? Because I mean, you're looking at close to half versus you're going to
True.
let's see, you double, you almost get, the double and a half of it. So that's about, I want to say about 3 to 1 right there.
What's that liquidation on that? It should give us that down at the bottom.
Liquidation is actually at $1.29.44. So, I mean,
Oh, that's sweet.
yeah, so that would be a good one right there. I mean, gives you a little bit more of a drop area before you can get liquidated on that $1,000 trade. And I don't know. I'm just saying, I'm calling $1,000. It may not be it that you put 1,000. If some people out here may want to do just a $10. Then you're looking at losing either $4.19 or gaining $13.35. If you're doing 100, it's $133 profit versus a $41 loss.
Can you do that original one and bump that up to 10x leverage?
Okay, so if we go into a 10x leverage, what you're going to be looking at is an 83% loss versus a 267% win and a liquidation of $1.45.
Ooh, that's getting a little closer to that $1.48. I don't.
Yeah, so that's where you got to take, and you got to take that risk management and try to base it out. Are you willing to lose this much money? If not, drop your leverage some. And, for instance, we're at 10, drop it to 9. Now you're looking at only 75%, 8%, 67%. So you change it around. Now here's the kicker though. This is that what if moment. I'm not saying this is it. It could be, seeing how we are stepping into that weekly slingshot positioning. What if this is bottom? What if this order block is bottom? And the next thing we have is new higher highs, breaking at 365. So now you're going to be looking at, even if for instance, you're in at, your $5, price goes up, and it keeps going. You put that $1,000 in there. Let's say it breaks that, up there and we hit the, say 350. Well, now you're up 586%. And it keeps going. I mean, at that point, you're able to close portions of the trade as it goes, taking out profit. But the even greater part of it is like, we always like to say, okay, you get in here at that $1.64 or whatever, and price goes up, we're up in profits. Well, at that point, you want to move your stop loss from that $1.47 area up above your entry. So now you're actually in the green both ways you go. It goes backwards and wants to, do another big red candle. Guess what? You get knocked out in the green, you don't lose money. If it decides it wants to keep going and going and it wants to be a moon coin and go to $10, $1,000 or whatever, you're in it for the long haul on that trade. And you got to be one of the lucky people to ride that up. So, just remember, risk management part of it is always make sure you move that stop loss up. Anything else you got for XRP there?
Just to highlight that again, the bids or the buys, they're just a lot thinner than the ask right now. And I I think we're getting set up. It looks so good and looks primed, which we've said that a lot about XRP over the last few years. But it really is. I agree with you. If it's testing that this lower order block, I don't see it going much lower than the 148, and neither does this book. So, yeah, stay sharp, and I think that the order book, understanding it, learning it, understanding it is a good thing. It's a solid move for any trader, and so I wouldn't pass on. I wouldn't sleep on it. So yeah, you can probably move on to Bitcoin.
All right, so we'll move on to Bitcoin. Remember, guys, all your apparel need, head over to thealphaangle.com. All this amazing merchandise over here, drinkwares, your crypto wraps, wall art, stationaries, backpacks, flags, all the great stuff that you need to get. Head on over there. So for Bitcoin itself, I've not been looking at it all day, which you can see Bitcoin's dropping. We do have those two order blocks sitting down below. Let me jump down to the daily here. So, so here we have one that has not been mitigated. It's a smaller one. So I feel personally we're going to hit the lower side of this. And I mean, if you look at these two order blocks, if you take the bottom of that last one and the top of this one, that's about the size of what we had over on XRP for that big order block, right? So, here we are of 80,000 down to that 79,000 for that first order block. It's a smaller one versus that bigger one down below it. So we would probably wind up breaking that one. I'm looking at, we're probably going to be breaking through that order block, that 79,374 down to $78,317. And I know all the Bitcoin people out there are screaming, no, we're not going to 78,000. We're not doing it. We're fixing to take and bounce. We're going up. We're not going below 80,000. You're going below 80,000. Sorry. Just, strap in. It's going to happen. Will you see another 100,000? I mean, I do see, we have order blocks that here for it. When I back out towards the weekly, I mean, you're still seeing that we still have the possibilities of, if it wants to break down below, would be that 70,000 area, which I was reading up some stuff on, for the actual Bitcoin dominance to drop. We may want to see a flash for it to drop down to that 70 to 67,000 area. If it does, that would just it's pretty much instantly dropped the dominance, and then altcoins are that at that point we'll be able to take off. So that is something that could play out as well. So that's something I'm currently watching. It looks like Bitcoin on the weekly is also looking at itself a slingshot spot as well. Will it go up and break its all-time high? I can't tell you that as of right now. I can just tell you what order blocks we've got set up here and what we're looking at. What are you seeing on your side?
Well, we've got a classic sell wall, here. And again, just like with XRP, the sellers are dominating the market right now. We're sitting between 82 and 83. It looks like well, the ladder's tight. The bids and the ask from about 83 to 83.3 to 83.2. It doesn't look like the buyers are going to pick this up. I think it's going to continue on downward. And the deeper ask, it's multiple large walls. We've got a top view, 20,000, 34,000. We just need to see more out of the buyers right now. I don't trade, Bitcoin all the time. I trade it more in in a bear market than I do in a bull. But it's just got too much bearing leaning confluence right now. I think it's an overwhelming sell pressure, and the support's fading around the 83,200, and upside risk if we break above, say, the 83,270, and a strong volume with displacement, that could really eat up some of that upper liquidity.
Well, I know looking at it here, I looked across a few of the time frames and stuff, and our pink lines and stuff tells me that we're going to see, possibly after we hit one of these order blocks here, we're going to be able to see another push it back up towards that 93 to $96,000 range. So we may get to see Bitcoin come back up close to that 100,000. I don't know if we're going to hit that as of right now. We just have to wait and see how the cards play out on that one. So.
That would fit nicely in with I was just talking about the 23,000 from where we're at now. The range isn't out of question by any means. Like I was saying, strong bearish skew right now, massive sell walls, thinner bids below, leans toward a short continuation, maybe some fade setups, but rejection at 83.3. Yeah, just not a bullish standoff is in the picture right now for Bitcoin. Sorry.
Yep, hate to be the bearer of bad news, but Bitcoin is still going to go down. Yeah. So that's what we've got there on Bitcoin. And then up next, we're going to have Ethereum. I'll pull that up here and take a look at it. And just like I've not got in here and really pre-looked at any Bitcoin, any Ethereum, any of that stuff. I've kind of glimpsed at the XRP before we started recording. So I mean, I'm flying out of the seat of my pants here, using my indicators that I've created here over the past couple of years. And some say that these things, you can tell the future with these things because where price is going to go, and as you learn it, like you can have a simple daily thing right here where you can see the green line's up above here. We're going to ride above the green line for so long that it has to pull back down below the red before it continues, and eventually it'll start to go sideways, flip, and then you'll have the same thing. Got to pull back up above the red, come back down, and then we got to come back green, and it's a repeating cycle. And so when you learn that, it's patterns. you learn those patterns with this thing. You'll know on smaller time frames or the bigger time frames, whichever way you're trading, when to get in, when to get out, kind of deals, and which way are we going. And of course, right now we're bearish. We're going down. We do have the lower order block, and this one right here for Ethereum is at that 2300 down to the 2100 area. That's what I'm looking at for Ethereum to drop down to. So daily, it's going to be coming back down. It's going to get its daily reset as well on the visual. If I break back to the weekly, it looks like it's trying to come back down. And it actually done a green dot entry, which that was a beautiful entry area. And man, what kind of ride was that? All right, so entry would have been right in here. And that was a 206% move from entry. And so far from the entry for the downside of our indicator, I mean, that's not even full entry, but that's already been a 42%. We're looking at it dropping on down to this order block here, which will give you roughly about a 50% drop since we had that green entry there on the weekly. But yeah, the weekly, yeah, we're pushing. We broke the actual order block that we have currently that is hit. We've actually broke through the bottom of it, which was at that $2,714. We pulled back up just a little bit and stuff, but the wicks already broke it. We're going to be seeing another push down into this lower order block here, and it being a bigger order block than the rest of that we've had. It's also creating that slingshot addition here. So it's a very, very good possibility with these big order blocks that we've called out on the Bitcoin, on the Ethereum, on XRP, that these could be our bottom spots that we hit. And then all these other order blocks, they're not really as big as this one at the bottom. This might be the leverage, the support, and everything we need for a super push to alt season or maybe another bull run. Let's go.
The in the book on Ethereum here, I know currently, it's trending down, and the buyers are about 30%, sellers 70. But honestly, there's a there's a strong bullish skew here, and massive bid wall defending the current levels. Higher low or breakout leans toward a bounce. So I'd watch this to bounce back here relatively soon, and just keep watching it ladder back up. Of all three charts, this one does look more bullish than the rest of them. We've got the heavy ask walls at around 60, between 60 and 48,000, and I'm sorry, 60 and 48 ETH. Your buyer support 21 down to 15. So it's it's changing so fast here that I still think it's looking bullish. I think it's got a tendency to want to be bullish again, even though we're in a downtrend.
I mean, yeah, it can be a little bit of bullish and stuff.
I do think that we're going to continue down a little bit, but I feel a retrace is in order here.
Yeah, and seeing a pull back up. So from that order block we have down below, we can see another push back up into that 3100 area. So we can definitely see that again on Ethereum, but it looks like it wants that lower order block before we see those higher numbers. Everything is, just is drawing out for it. And that's the thing with these indicators and stuff is we don't draw these lines on here and say, okay, well, the price has been going that way. We're going to market this way, and it looks like it's going this way. So we're going to market. No, this is the data that is in here. We just set all the settings for all these indicators. It draws it out, and we just look at it and analyze it, and well, there it is. It just is telling us, you know, exactly what's going on. But I've noticed between the three of these, Bitcoin, XRP, and Ethereum, when you got order blocks and stuff on them, and you see like Ethereum's like, it has like one that needs to go down a little bit more, and yet you see on Bitcoin and XRP, it's like, well, we're already in one, we're going to push up, and it'll hit and it'll push up some, but then it comes right back down because it didn't hit the one it needed for Ethereum. So it's like you have to watch all three of these to know exactly what's going on. But here we have three different ones that all three have this bigger order block that is just down below, that it needs to go just a little bit more. The weekly is showing on the visual for all three of them that it's getting close to a crossover event for a slingshot up to the upside with a green dot entry. You add those, a weekly and a daily green dot, we're going to see a massive push to the upside. And you know what? That's something I want to be here, and I want to promote that. I don't want to be the messenger with all the bad news on, and we're going down more and stuff. So unfortunately, yes, we are going down more, but long running, we're going to see some upsides. That you want to make us feel a lot better. So don't sell out and run away. We got some more growing to go.
Yeah, just keep your emotions in check, and you'll be fine. No sooner than I said that, now this Ethereum book is looking a bit more seller dominant. But I can, the bid walls are solid. So I think that even if it goes down and captures that last bit of liquidity in that order block, it's not going to dwell there.
No, I don't think it'll dwell there very long. I think this is one of those where we tap it, and because there's more of a space between this candle and this order block versus like Bitcoins and XRPs. XRP, we're almost there, so we're probably gonna pull down. I don't know, maybe down in like the $1.50 area of XRP's order block, which would be about perfect for the Bitcoin and the Ethereum. Ethereum would probably be pulling down to that 2320, tapping that order block and calling it, nope, I can't break it. Let's go to the top. And from there, you don't really have that many order blocks and if you do, they're not really big ones, they're small ones. So with all that buyer support, I can see us breaking order blocks going up and starting to create that new mountain of highs, higher highs and higher lows.
Yeah, I'm looking, until we see a decoupling, a lot of the stories are the same with crypto because Bitcoin leads the market and everything else is following it. The market follows it. So it's not really sexy, but it's still honest. And once we decouple, it'll be a different story.
100%, 100%. All right. Do you have any other coins that you want to look at before we call it for the night?
A buddy of mine had asked me about a coin I hadn't looked at in a while. Maybe we can look at it real quick, and that's Avalanche.
Avalanche.
I didn't have a real response for him because I hadn't spent much time with it since the holidays. So yeah, I wouldn't mind looking at that.
All right. Let's see if we can pull that up. Was it AVL?
AVAX.
Let's see if I got that one over here on Blowfin. Guys, if you are looking for a platform to trade on, one of them that I trade on is Blowfin. I have no problems with it. You can actually get the links and stuff at the 60strading.com. Keep in mind, if you click on any of my links in there, they are affiliate links, so I may earn a little something off of those. If you don't want to use those, you just want to take and go to the website, by just getting an idea from it there, by all means do so. And of course, if you want to join our Discord, be able to get in here, ask questions after we get done with the recordings of these and stuff, to be able to get the daily updates and stuff. Seeing how we're not putting these episodes out every single day with the updates. We're not tweeting it out anymore. It's going into the Discord for our members. The Discord, memberships, it's just $21.99 a month. One bad trade, or skipping, what, I'm a Big Mac or something, Big Mac or two a month or whatever, and you've got it. And you can learn this stuff. It has all the indicators. You got all the training videos. You can ask questions and all that, and we'll put out trade calls and stuff. We don't put out as many and stuff, but the more you learn, the more you're able to actually go and actually trade a lot of it on your own as well. So,
And to speak on your point there, 60, guys, I'm new to Blowfin, but I took to it, immediately. It's a fantastic site that's not too busy. And so learning Blowfin, if that's the direction you want to go, is not going to be a complicated process. And these indicators that we're making these calls from, guys, learning these will allow you to be able to open a chart, instantly see at least a few things, trends, where your daily amounts should or possibly will go. And these are things that are repeatable. These are things that you can learn and just continue to use them. And the better you get to know them, like 60 mentioned earlier, that, a lot of guys have said, you can see into the future. Well, it's just simply because you can see where these lines are heading, and you can see the kind of moves that they make. So learning this process, $20 a month, kind of a no-brainer.
yeah, I mean, I have released, if you go to 60trading.com, you get the link to my YouTube and stuff. But if you go over there, I've actually released one of the episodes for the class, which I got to finish up the last few sections of it. But I believe it's section 7 is our risk management. So a lot of traders and stuff don't teach out a proper risk management stuff, and for me, that is like one of the stomping grounds of my thing is you've got to learn risk management, because if you go in here blindly and you're like, oh, well, I know these things are great and we're going to hit this and it's going to be great. Good. If you're hitting them, great. But if you're not using your risk management and you're like, well, it may go down a little bit further, so we're going to set it right here. Okay, well, you've set right there and you know how much you're going to lose right there. If price approaches it, you're like, I need to give it just a little bit more. Well, it comes down, it hits where your stop loss was, and it pushes down more, and you're like, a little bit more, a little bit more. And the next thing you know, you're fixing to get liquidated. So you're like, I don't want to lose that money, so let's take and add more to our margin so it brings our liquidation down lower. Oh, it still keeps coming down. Okay, let's add more to bring our liquidation down more. And now you got all this money tied up. And if it wants to take and do another one of those candles like on October 10th of 2025, where we dropped that huge wick, if it wants to do that, you ain't gonna be able to get a chance to do anything to add more money to it or not, because when that happens, the platforms all go down, they freeze up, they lock up, they won't let you do nothing. You cannot add no money at those times. So if your liquidation was not down low enough, guess what? You're liquidated. You just lost every single dime that you had in there, every single penny. So don't do that. It's better to take and look and follow our charts, follow our system, find your order blocks, follow your lines, and create your entry along with your exit strategy. Where's it going to be? How much of a loss if it hits? Am I okay with losing this much? If you're not, let's look at the leverage. Can we drop the leverage and then, apply that lower leverage? Are we willing to lose this? We're good. Okay. Boom, put it in. Not scared. Now, once it hits and it goes into profit, that's when we want to move that stop loss up into above our entry area. So now if it comes backwards and it wants to go lower, guess what? It hits our stop loss. We take a profit. If it wants to keep going up, it'll go up and we'll wind up hitting our take profit above. Either way, we make money. We don't lose money. But if we do lose, we want to take and use the least amount lost to get in at the next best entry to reclaim that little bit we lost and make more than we're losing. And if you play that strategy correct, you can correct me if I'm wrong over here, Jay, but you can double your money.
For sure, for sure. I don't know if you track your wins and losses here, 60. I'm at about 71% since August. And I normally was riding a little higher than that, but the holiday season, I probably made some trades that I would like to have back because I didn't have the time to go over everything. I was a little bit more rushed, and so I put the trades in a little bit just a little too risky. But still, 71% is solid. That's solid. It's a solid win to loss ratio.
Oh, 100%. And would you say that you've been able to at least double your money, or
Me
Yeah,
in here since
yeah,
I've been in here?
yes.
Oh, more than double, more than that, more than doubled it.
Okay. So that right there proves that risk management strategy, along with our strategy that we're doing here, is working. We don't guarantee 100% win rate. We don't guarantee to make you a millionaire and all that. We teach you how to read the charts and give you the tools to do so. And we're just a nice little family to hang out with and to go over all this stuff with. So
100%, man. That's exactly what it feels like over here. And just spending time with these charts and with these same indicators day in and day out, you've got to get yourself to where you are confident in the calls that you're making and whenever you're plotting different zones on your chart, you have to have confidence in them. You cannot be second guessing yourself. So the only way to get to that point is time. And it's like anything else. You've got to. It's not timing the market exactly. It's time in the market. Was that Buffett who said that? I couldn't agree more. And just building that confidence by being in here, being comfortable with doing what you said. When it comes to risk management, you got to be able to confidently also cut those ties, not get emotional about it, allow yourself the clarity to get back in a solid trade, ride it back up, make that money up, and keep going.
the great thing
But it
too.
all starts with confidence, buddy. I mean, everybody's got to be confident, and winning is going to build that confidence, but knowledge is going to build it even better because maybe you win. We can all win. Every squirrel finds a nut, but being able to win the same way over day in and day out, that's what's going to get you out of a 9 to 5. If that's what you're looking to do, that's where you're going to make enough money and be confident in the amount, and you be able to track these things and to budget how much you're going to make on average, and just grow with freedom.
Absolutely. And of course, the great thing too here is, you come in here and you put, however much money you put into it, and you double your money. Well, guess what? At this point, now you can actually pull your original investment out. So now you're playing with the bank's money. You're playing with the casino's money. All right. So now let's do that doubling again. Because now, if you lose any or all of this, you have lost nothing, because you have all the money you put into it has already been pulled out. So as long as you continue to do that, you're going to make money. Now, here's a great thing too. You can keep playing with your money and stuff. Do that. You're doing great. You can also, on the side, there's these other little platforms, these trading platforms that are prop platforms and stuff, where you can get an account. You pay $50 $100, whatever, for a trial account for, these $10,000 accounts, $25,000, $100,000 accounts. Okay, so you take and you try one of those, use these indicators. You look at the chart, you say, okay, this is what it's going to do. Put it in there, it goes up, it hits it, you win, you pass the trial. They give you that live account with that $25,000, $50,000, $100,000, whatever. So now you're trading your own money here, but you also go over this one, you throw in a trade over on it too. And when it makes money, you get to cash out that profit. When you cash the profit out of that $25,000 account, say you increase it up to where you're now up to 50,000. So you don't cash out that $25,000 profit. Most of them, they're going to take and say, okay, you can have 80% of that profit and we'll keep 20, or you can have 90%, we'll keep 10%, because, they're letting you use their money. So they're going to take a little profit, but you're going to take the majority of the profit. So you can use their money to make that big money off of that. Plus you could use your own money here to trade, and you're getting 100% of your money after the fees that the, platforms charge you. So you could do that and be full-time doing this. So it's things you can look at once you learn the system. Now, looking here at AVAX, I don't really have any other order blocks on for this that big candle drop, because I can't go back to the 1 minute frames and all that, some of these other time frames for that big wick to find out if there's any others there. But looking at it just for the simple fact on the daily, we've been dropping down below the green, we come back up, come down above the green. We've been doing exactly what we're supposed to do, and eventually pull above the red and the orange for another drop. So right now it looks on the daily, we still have some more pushing to come down. I don't think we'll wind up breaking that $8.35, part of that wick. I believe we get down there kind of a little bit closer to create that new lower low. However, we'll start to see it kind of push and stuff, because it's now looking like it's time for another pullback up, more than likely up here to this top order block, looking at $14.94 down to that $14.40 on the daily. So that would be a nice little pullback up if we come down here into that $8 range, back up to a $14. That'd be pretty nice. It looks like we've already come down and we'd hit that order block. So originally when we came down, this first order block that I had here, and it's been sitting here for a while, you see it hit and it pulled back up, and you would have took a profit off of that. But yeah, I don't have anything else on there, so I couldn't really call that. Now I can say that we still have this upper order block that has not been hit since then, which that one is setting up to the high of 10. What is it? Nope. There it is. It's $21,000 or $21.53 up to that, or correction, $21.53 up to $23.24. So yes, there is little order blocks along the way. You got one here. It looks like we got, no, that ain't the one there. We do have a little bit of something right here, not much, but for the main part on the daily, it looks like majority of all order blocks have been adjusted. There's one right there. So you got two order blocks that are still valid for hitting that one up there at that $21 area. So a little bit more, and we can see another pullback, or correction, not pullback, but a push to the upside.
If you want to, I know there's got to be a lot of people that probably aren't familiar with order blocks. I've got a good shot up here. If you don't have one there, and you can show, can you show whenever somebody maybe go to a different chart, because we haven't had AVAX pulled up here in a while. But if you go to your XRP, you can show where you actually the day and time that you plotted an order block, and then go down through the time frames there, and show how the candle wicks will bounce off either up or down and off a zone that you plotted maybe weeks before. They do work. They do work. Um, yeah, I'm on the 4 hour, and there's a few right actually just yesterday that on the 4 hour that, and I don't know if you have that order block up
Well, I
right
don't
now.
have it now because I've already cleared it, but I do know what you're talking about because we did have, so we had this order block right here. So you had candle A, B, and C. C did not come back to A, so that was an order block. So we had that, and it came down and tapped, and it kind of pulled back up, but then came back down again. So I mean, technically, you entered, it went up. You should have been in the profit, moved your stop loss up, all that. But now, what I was looking at yesterday, or yesterday night, was we had another order block over in here, and I was looking for, hey, we're gonna come up, it's gonna come back down, possibly touch that and go back up. And what did it do? It actually came down right there, touched it, and then went all the way up. So, I mean, that would have been, hey, perfect little entry, write it up, take some profits up above the orange, and then watching it coming back right back down. And I mean, I believe you said you put a actual short in on XRP right up here, and because it came up,
I missed two, buddy. I missed two.
it didn't trigger by like what is it, a hundredths of a millimeter or something.
It was my entry was one. Oh, I deleted it, but it was 182. I'm sorry, $1.78.2, and it went to $1.78.8, but it didn't trigger. Hey, can you show? Can you see my screen here? I've got a good spot pulled up here that I want to show what I was referring to. That shows how these order blocks come into play.
Don't think
If
I've
you can
got that.
put me on.
Yeah, I don't have it where I can add that over to the screen. Let me see.
Okay. I was just going to show it where the order block was plotted, and then and that was on the 23rd of January this year. I plotted an order
There we go.
block, and then okay, I'm on there. Awesome. And so that was right here, and I clearly didn't know it was going to happen today, yesterday. That order block came into play, and I used it on my trade on the 26th. It hit that twice and rejected off of that. And then yesterday, you can see, and again, can I prove that I put this in back then? No, but I did, and
well, hold up now.
it came into play and it worked.
You say can't prove it, but I think anything that orders you put in, whether they got triggered or not, don't they record those?
Oh, I'm referring to this order block that I put in. Yes, they are recorded. I was just talking about that I put this in back on the 23rd, and it came into play on the 26th, and it came into play yesterday without being mitigated. So that we know that we're identifying and plotting our order blocks. And once you really learn how to use them, I mean, it's never easy, but it's a lot easier, and it's a lot easier to understand and to visibly see where you potentially are going to have the heaviest resistance or support.
Absolutely. So,
Hey, buddy, I got one other thing to say, man, really
right.
quick, and that is, I think, it crossed my mind whenever you were talking a little bit ago about, coming in, risk management, and things like that. But here's something a lot of people seem to forget, and I'm guilty as well of. I'm gonna kill this screen share. I'm guilty as anybody about chasing the big. Everybody wants to see a 20x, 50x, 100x. Don't forget this, guys. $1,000 in, $1,000 is only 10 2x's from $1 million. So understand how to double your money before you're trying to quadruple your money, and then understand that you only have to do that averaging. So say in a 2-week period, you've got your trading bag, your ups, your downs, but if you can average just a double, a 2x, a tiny little 2x, With the same bag, that's only 10 of those that you have to do to have $1 million. Now, those last two trades are going to be, you're going to have to be an emotionless trader to put 250 grand and then 500 grand on one trade. But risk management, you've only got to, 2x that $1,000 10 times and you're a millionaire. Sure sounds easy.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's just like, if you were able to, for each trade you do, you're able to take and double your money. Yeah, it wouldn't take that many trades. Even if you took and you started out with, say $100, you start doubling it. I mean, what, about 2 weeks, you're a millionaire, or actually more than
Yeah,
that.
if you can do that on a day, because if you've got $100, and so I'll just punch the keys here. So $100, and then you got 200, double that. You got 400, double that. You got 800, so double. So you're almost to your 1,000. And if you're doing that by weeks, that's in a month. Now, that's where it really starts getting wild, because now you start doubling that 1,000 to 2,000, 2,000 to 4 to 8, and so on. Again, the last two are quite juicy.
Right.
But hey, if you've got stones, put it on the line.
Right. And that's something we had talked about, in the beginning of, like a few months back, about trying to do maybe a challenge or something to where we would double our money daily and stuff. And I mean, it is doable. But you've got to be strict. You've got to be there watching it the entire time, and my eyes can't handle watching it that long. I ain't gonna lie. They start
Not
going cross-eyed and hurting. But if you're able to still, say you're able to, get a trade once or twice a week, and you're able to get, a little bit here and there, and by the end of the month you're doubling your money. Um, you're by the end of the year, I mean, you're going to be sitting pretty.
There you
You're
go.
going to be looking good. You're going to be growing, and if you're able to do that, um, not only by using your money and doubling here, but you're able to do some of those prop accounts. Well, now it's a possibility that, hey, you're on your own business thing. You can do this stuff sitting on the beach. Pull it up on your phone, tablet, whatever. Do it right there. Put the trade in. Boom. Nail it. Walk away. Enjoy yourselves. And now you've got plenty of money. You don't have to worry about anything else. You can help others, or you can be like some of the people who get all the money and they be greedy and don't want to help people. But for me, personally, the more that I can help out others, that's what I want to do. That's why I didn't create this community to be one of those where, oh, it's $500 a month to get in here to get these indicators, be able to talk with me and everything else. And then when you get in here, it's like, oh, well, the education's right there. Learn it. If you can't do it, you're not smarter than a fifth grader. Get out of here. You're a peon. No, $21.99 a month. It gets you the indicator. It gets you access to the Discord, and everything I got in here is accessible. We've got the indicators. We got understanding the indicators. Any kind of news. Somebody wants to drop out news. People want to, that comes in here and they'll start learning the indicators. They want to give a call out and stuff for a trade. They can do that. You share your results. There's training videos. I am working on. It's not fully functioning and the greatest thing in the world, but I do have a trading AI bot that is scanning and making calls. It is self-learning, it's training itself. So this is something that it may not be ready for another 6 months to a year, but it is something that is being worked on. I am creating that. And then of course we got some other indicators that's getting created by Mr. J over here. He was showing me just before the show. I'm excited because I've tried other people's indicators, but they just don't cut it. They don't do what we want, and I don't recommend them for anybody. But what he is working on, I think this one is going to take and just hit the nail on the head. So I like that.
Thanks, Casey. Thank you.
Not a problem. And I also got that trade calculator that we were showing there just a little earlier. Let me pull that back up here. So this trade calculator, this is free for everybody to use. All you got to do is head over to 60strading.com, click up there on the navigation to trade calculator. It's right there. That is been created also by Jay. He was gracious enough to put that together. I was going to work on it, but he had the time. He went ahead, he put it together, and asked how we want to do it and stuff, and we got it in here. So you can set it up for longs, shorts, all that. We may look at doing some upgrades to it to possibly, factor in fees, to where, we might be able to take and check out certain, a couple other platforms and stuff and what their fees are. And so that way, maybe over to the side or something, we can say, okay, well, the fee for, this versus this, because I know like with Blowfin, they're going to have a higher fee for a market entry versus a limit entry. Limit entry is going to be the cheapest fee there is. So you can be able to weigh out, okay, how much am I actually going to get out of that profit after they pull their cut. So that may be some things that, may be in the future that we look for here and stuff on that. But, he's been amazing about helping out with that and anything else we got here and stuff. And then, of course, the merchandise. I've got one of the long sleeve shirts, the crypto shirts. I love it. It is super comfortable. I mean, you don't even feel the logo. It's on there and stuff. It is smooth. I highly recommend going and buying a bunch there. I think there's a hat or two on there that I'm looking at. I am fixing to I'm having to take and go ahead and purchase a few of those because I like those. So.
They're great. Whenever we started that site, I had a Christmas had went by, and I had gotten I think 3 crypto shirts, t-shirts, and after about a month and just washing them, they didn't fit the same. They didn't feel the same. You just mentioned something that was really important to me. I can't stand when I can feel that logo on the inside of a shirt. And so, we ordered a lot of the different brands and the different weights of clothing that were available. And we spent time. I had my wife washing laundry. I really wanted to give these a 6-month test, and I think we did. I think we did pretty good. I've enjoyed every article that I've gotten, and yeah, I appreciate you the compliments, and everybody, if you have some time, thealphaangle.com, and I'll get a discount set up in there for anybody who's listening to this Hello Crypto show, and I'll get you a 10 or 15% discount, and we'll put that out maybe Monday or Tuesday.
Awesome. All right, family, that's going to wrap up the Hello Crypto episode 9. It's a big shout out again to Jay Blaine from the Alpha Angle. Embrace the crypto culture at thealphaangle.com. If you got value from this episode, hit the like, follow, and subscribe. Drop a comment. What coin you want covered next? And if you want the full breakdown, calculator tools, and the community, head on over to 60strading.com. Join the Discord. Again, this was presented by 60s Trading. Learn, execute, and profit. I'm 60, and we will see you in the next episode. God bless you all.